I came across a post asking for advice. My female friend is pregnant. How can I help her? She's a really close friend, but she can't have an abortion due to health reasons, and she doesn't want her child to be a bastard with an unknown father. As a friend, I should be there for her, but I'm a married man. How am I supposed to help? Among the mixed reviews, one answer stood out, garnering both a lot of likes and a lot of hate. It's simple. Tell your wife you're getting a fake divorce to buy a second property, then secretly marry your friend. After a few months, when you've silenced the gossip, divorce her and remarry your wife. No one will ever know. What kind of garbage was this? The person asking was no good, and the person answering was even worse. I scoffed in disgust and was about to close the page when my husband, Adrian, walked over, a look of excitement on his face. Honey, my company is partnering with a real estate developer to offer a special deal for employees, unmarried, first-time homebuyers get a 30% discount. We could save tens of thousands. So, what if we get a fake divorce? Honey, we can't miss out on this deal. Our current place is a little small anyway. We can get a fake divorce, buy a new house, and then remarry in a few months. What do you think? Adrian's eyes were shining, as if a pie had just fallen from the sky and landed in his lap, but my heart skipped a beat. I couldn't help but think of the post I had just read. They say the algorithm works in mysterious ways, but this couldn't be. Is it really that good of a deal? If everyone gets a fake divorce to buy a house, wouldn't the developer lose a ton of money? I stared at Adrian's face, not missing a single flicker of his expression. Lose money? They're a huge developer with one project after another. A few houses is nothing to them. Adrian's joyful expression stiffened for a barely perceptible moment before returning to normal. But after 3 years of marriage, I had caught the fleeting change. My heart sank. I instinctively tightened my grip on my phone and said, testing the waters. A deal that saves us tens of thousands is definitely worth it. I'm fine with the divorce, but you'll have to leave with nothing. He frowned, about to argue, when the doorbell rang. Son, your dad's here to see you. Open up, a cheerful voice called out. A smile immediately spread across Adrian's face. We'll talk about this tonight. He quickly said this and went to open the door. So slow to open the door for your old man. You asking for a spanking? A woman in shorts and a tank top bounded in, leaped onto Adrian's back, and bit his ear. That's your punishment. See if you'll be so slow next time. Adrian sucked in a breath, feigning anger. Are you a dog? Look at yourself, jumping around like that. But his hands were firmly supporting her legs, and his face was full of a doting smile. You're the dog. How dare you talk back to your dad? Let me teach you a lesson. She huffed, tickling him. The two of them started roughhousing, and Adrian's other friends who had come with her laughed along. No one saw me standing at the bedroom door, just as I had been countless times over the years, intentionally or unintentionally excluded, and no one thought there was anything wrong with their behavior. It was just normal for them. It wasn't that I hadn't said anything before, that I hadn't argued with him about his relationship with her. We grew up together. We're like brothers. Gender doesn't matter. If there was really something between us, you wouldn't even be in the picture. What's the foundation of a marriage, besides love? It's trust. So, can't we just trust each other a little more? Adrian had exploded, and after shouting at me, he had given me the cold shoulder for half a month. All right, stop it. Just then, as if she had only just noticed me, the woman slid off Adrian's back and linked her arm with his. Oh, sister-in-law, you're here too. Don't mind us. We're just used to fooling around like this. Just think of me as one of the guys. She was smiling, but her eyes were full of triumph and provocation. Hearing her call me, Adrian's smile faltered. He immediately stepped in front of her. Honey, there's a game on tonight. The guys are over to watch and play some games, he explained, his face showing his annoyance at being interrupted. I clenched my fists. Before I could say anything, the woman had taken off her cover, up and playfully thrown it at Adrian's head. Go on. Didn't you text me that you got some of those handmade pickled plums for your dad? Get them for me to try. She walked into the living room as if she owned the place and plopped down on the sofa. The others followed, laughing and talking. Even Adrian, after hanging up her cover, went straight to the kitchen without another glance at me, and I, remembering what she had just said, felt a dull ache in my chest and, once again, thought of that post. I get summer fatigue. When the weather gets hot, I lose my appetite. A few days ago, a friend mentioned that Adrian had been asking around for handmade pickled plums. I thought he was trying to find them for me, since I had lost some weight. Last night, he came home with a jar. I saw the plums and immediately wanted one, but he had refused, saying it would be bad for my sleep. So, it wasn't about my sleep, it was because they were for her. But as far as I knew, she hated sour things. Just then, Adrian came out of the kitchen. He walked to the sofa, handed her the plums, and then, very naturally, adjusted her shoulder strap. You've grown a bit, but you're still flat as a board. Don't show it off and blind people. She was furious. Get lost. You think you're so big. You're the same as you were 3 years ago, on your wedding night, when I had to help you out. What do you mean? What wedding night? We don't know anything about that, someone immediately asked. She glanced at me out of the corner of her eye, then said with a giggle, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just that on my good son's wedding night, I was horny and watched a movie, but I was on my period, so I couldn't do anything. I was so frustrated, so I called him, and he came over, and we watched a movie together and helped each other out." Boom. I stood at the door, a chill running up my spine, my stomach churning. Our wedding night, 3 years ago, on our wedding night, just as things were getting heated, Adrian had suddenly gotten a call, saying there was an emergency at work. I had lain there naked, my face flushed, like a wanton woman, telling him to come back soon, but he hadn't come back until late the next morning. Looking exhausted, I had thought he had worked all night. I didn't dare to complain. I had run him a bath and made him soup, my heart aching for him, but it turned out that he had left me, his new bride, to go and watch a movie and help out a woman on her period. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I ran to the bathroom and threw up until I was dizzy. "Honey, what's wrong?" Adrian heard the noise and looked over. "Oh, is sister-in-law angry again? Is she upset that we're here? Otherwise, she was fine a minute ago. Why is she suddenly throwing up?" The woman clicked her tongue. "She's so petty. We've been to everyone else's house, and we've never had a problem like this." Adrian, who had been about to come to the bedroom, stopped. His face hardened. "It's fine. She gets summer fatigue. She'll be fine after she throws up. Don't worry about her." He squeezed in next to the woman on the sofa, and they started playing a game, his arm around her. He didn't even glance in my direction, thinking about what Adrian's hands had done, and what he had done to me afterwards. I wanted to throw up my guts. I threw up until my stomach cramped, then collapsed on the floor. I shakily took out my phone and opened the post I had been reading. I went to the poster's profile. The first post was from our wedding night. TSK. "Getting off with my buddy on my wedding night is pretty awesome. Kinda regret getting married." There was no room for doubt. The poster was Adrian. After all, what other man would leave his wife on their wedding night to do something so disgusting and shameless? And the second post was from the day after our honeymoon. So annoying. The moment we're married, she starts nagging. She even wants to control who I hang out with. I remembered it clearly. That was the day Adrian had taken his friends out to dinner, and the first time I had argued with him about her. Before we were married, he always said it was just a bunch of guys, that I would feel out of place, but it turned out that she was always there. Then she went abroad for 2 years, and Adrian's posts were filled with pictures of her locations, all corresponding to his supposed business trips. The saying is true, brothers before hoes. And a post from half a month ago read, "I regret it. I shouldn't have saved her that year. If I hadn't gotten married, my life would be so much more exciting." My vision blurred. Tears fell onto the floor. 4 years ago, on my way home from a night shift, I was dragged into an alley by a group of drunk men. Just as I was about to be attacked, Adrian had saved me. But now, he regretted it. Regretted what? That I hadn't been assaulted. A suffocating pain seized my heart, like a barbed knife twisting inside me. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a message from one of Adrian's friends. In the video, the woman had lost a game and was being forced to drink. "No," Adrian stopped her. "Have you forgotten your condition? You can't drink." He reached for the bottle, intending to drink for her, thinking of the pickled plums and the contents of the post. I knew, she was pregnant, and Adrian, wanting to be the white knight, wanted to divorce me and marry his female friend. "We're all brothers here. No heroics. You can drink for her, but she has to have a little. How about this? She takes a sip, then feeds it to you from her mouth." A chorus of cheers erupted. The next second, the woman stood up, laughing, and straddled Adrian, wrapping her arms around his neck and taking a swig of the drink. Amidst the catcalls, Adrian held her waist and, with a small smile, opened his mouth to receive the kiss she leaned in for. My stomach churned again. I fought back the nausea and stormed out of the bedroom. Before anyone could react, I grabbed her by the hair and slapped her. She screamed. Adrian's face turned cold. "Charlotte, are you insane?" He grabbed my arm. I slapped him with my other hand. The noise died down. "How did the spit swapped drink taste? I asked, my eyes red, my gaze filled with disgust and disappointment. He was stunned by my expression and was about to say something. She pinched his waist. What did I tell you? You can't just shout at your wife. I've told you so many times. Some women are just like that, with a heart the size of a pinprick. You can't reason with them. You have to coax them. You understand. She then turned to me with a helpless smile. Sister-in-law. Adrian and I grew up together. We just help each other out with our needs. It's not a romantic thing, really. We're just friends, regardless of gender. Can you just not take it so seriously? If you keep this up, none of us will want to hang out with him anymore. And we're all waiting for the game tonight. Her words made the others look at me with disapproval, their eyes filled with contempt and disgust. Adrian's face hardened again. Charlotte, I've told you so many times. We're just friends. It was just a game. Why do you have to keep making a scene? It's so annoying. He held her tightly behind him, as if I were a madwoman who would hurt his good friend. Suddenly, it all felt pointless. A game, is it? Fine. Then you can keep playing. I wiped the tears from my face and turned to leave. Charlotte, are you not done yet? Adrian started to follow me, but then the woman let out a soft cry, clutched her head, and fell into his arms. He immediately stopped. What's wrong? I feel a little dizzy. Adrian swept her up in his arms and rushed to our bedroom. Get out of the way, he barked. I was shoved aside, my forehead hitting the corner of a cabinet. Blood trickled down my face. Adrian didn't even look. It hurt, but the pain in my head was nothing compared to the pain in my heart. I went to the study, my hand pressed to my forehead, and opened the divorce agreement I had already drafted. I made some changes and printed it out. Adrian didn't know that after countless arguments about her, I had already been thinking about divorce. It was only because I couldn't forget the man who had pulled me from the brink of despair that I had endured for so long. Now, I didn't need to anymore, and he would be leaving with nothing. I signed the agreement, thinking of the fake marriage post, of the I regret saving her. I opened a web browser and did some research. Then I printed out a new document and attached it to the divorce agreement. I was about to go find Adrian when the study door opened. It was his friend, Leo, sister-in-law. Come on, there's a good show to watch, he whispered. I pursed my lips, ignored him, and walked towards the master bedroom. I never expected that the good show was in the master bedroom. Son, have you not eaten? I asked you to scrub my back, not tickle me. Put some muscle into it. The moment I opened the door, her voice drilled into my ears. You're pregnant. Do you think I'd dare to use any force? Hold still. I'm putting on the soap. Adrian's voice followed. Boom. I stood frozen at the bathroom door, as if struck by lightning. Adrian was in our marital home, right in front of me, giving another woman a bath. Did they have no shame? My ears were ringing, but with a trembling but steady hand, I took out my phone and started recording. She giggled again. You're not as strong as you were on your wedding night when you helped me. You're just tickling me. No, I have to get you back. She started splashing him. The two of them started playing in the bathtub, the water splashing everywhere. As the atmosphere grew more and more intimate, she wrapped her arms around Adrian's neck. Adrian, the baby is actually yours. What? Adrian was shocked. Didn't you say you were afraid a child would inherit Charlotte's pettiness, so you didn't want to have one with her? She explained. And I didn't want to get married, but I wanted a baby. So, that time we were drunk. I wasn't going to tell you, but I've changed my mind. I think I'm in love with you. She couldn't finish. Adrian had kissed her, passionately, urgently. Baby, I love you too. I've loved you for so long, he panted. I even posted online, asking for advice on how to get Charlotte to agree to a fake divorce so I could marry you. The rest of his words were drowned out by a series of obscene noises. So, the post was really from Adrian, and the special deal on the house was a complete lie. Just as they were about to get even more intimate, I grabbed the trash can from the corner, pushed open the door, and dumped it over their heads. A bitch and a dog, a perfect match. Ah, she screamed, scrambling for her clothes. I was prepared. I had already thrown both of their clothes out of the bathroom. Leo, who had followed me in, silently took the two bathrobes from the hook and threw them out as well. Charlotte, are you insane? Adrian roared, awkwardly trying to shield her naked body from view. He was also frantically trying to cover himself. I sneered. My phone held steady, still recording. What's there to cover? We're all brothers, right? No gender. Since you can all help each other out with your needs, what's there to hide? Adrian was speechless, his mouth opening and closing but no words coming out. He glared at me. then turned his anger on Leo. Are you an idiot? Why did you throw the clothes out? Get them for me. Leo put on a look of remorse. Oh, man, I was in such a rush. You guys wait here. I'll go get them. But though he said he would, he didn't move. No, Adrian, what are you and her doing? You two slept together. He feigned disbelief. Adrian was like a cornered dog. Slept together. What are you talking about? She just said she couldn't reach her back and asked for help. Leo, when did you become like Charlotte? With a dirty mind and dirty eyes, caught red-handed and still denying it. I had to laugh. Yes, you didn't sleep together. You were just roughhousing. Right. My sarcastic tone made Adrian's face turn a mixture of green and purple. Charlotte, she couldn't take it anymore. She peeked out from behind Adrian and shrieked. You're so vile. Your mouth is so filthy. Are you even a woman? If you don't think I am, then feel free to treat me like a man, I said calmly. And besides, you two are in my marital home, in my bathtub, in my presence, and you can't wait to get it on. You don't think you're vile, so what does it matter what I say? You. She was speechless, seeing their livid faces. The tightness in my chest finally eased a little. Adrian had saved me, yes, and I was grateful, but that didn't change the fact that he was a garbage scumbag. Just then, the others, hearing the commotion, came over. She let out another shriek and tried to hide in the bathtub. Aren't you bros? Stand up and let everyone see. Let's see if you're really flat as a board, and since there are so many of us, we can all take turns helping you out. Wouldn't that be nice? I said sarcastically. Out. All of you, get out, Adrian roared, chasing them away. At this point, he had no shame left. He grabbed a towel and went to get their clothes. Here, put this on. You'll catch a cold, he said, draping a shirt over her shoulders. How ridiculous. His wife, was still here, and he was so openly doting on another woman. And the way he had just shouted at everyone to get out, who would believe he didn't know the difference between men and women? Charlotte, you wait, I'm not done with you today, Adrian said, looking at me coldly. I can't stand a woman with a dirty mind and a petty, jealous heart like yours. I want a divorce. So now he was turning the tables on me. I didn't want to look at their shameless faces anymore. I turned my phone on them. Adrian, you cheated on me, in my own home, right in front of me. I have it all on video. This is evidence. And what she said earlier, about getting pregnant. I have all of that disgusting talk recorded too. I held up the divorce agreement and the attached document. So, if anyone is getting a divorce, it's me, and you, as the fault party, will be leaving with nothing. Nothing. Adrian was stunned. Charlotte, are you dreaming? She chimed in from the side. Charlotte, have you no shame? The money was all earned by Adrian. How much do you even make? Why should he leave with nothing? Who do you think you are? I sneered, ignoring her barking. I just looked at Adrian coldly. And the link to the post you made. Thank God for the algorithm. I added, sarcastically. All your scumbag comments. And your brilliant plan to trick me into a fake marriage. I have screenshots of all of it. Either you sign the divorce papers now, or I post all the evidence online and make you too famous. Then I'll sue for divorce. You choose. Adrian gritted his teeth. He knew how crazy the internet could be. Although he didn't think he had done anything wrong, he couldn't bear to see her suffer. He was just shocked that I had found the post, and he was kicking himself for being so careless, for letting me catch him. Charlotte, after all these years, and I saved your life once. Don't be so cruel. Adrian stared at me as if I were his mortal enemy. I thought he was my hero. My wholehearted love and marriage had turned into this ugly mess. A suffocating pain filled my chest, but I sneered, not backing down. I had lost in love. I would not lose in anything else. Cruel, I snorted. Adrian, if not for the fact that you saved my life, do you think I would still be here, wasting my breath on you? So, just sign. Money can be earned again, but a lost reputation is gone forever. I waved the divorce papers. With the disgusting things you two have done, you don't want to become social pariahs, do you? Who's disgusting? At this point, she dropped all pretense. We're in love. There's no crime in love. What have we done wrong? You're the ungrateful one. Charlotte, you've been holding on to Adrian for all these years, and now you want his money too. Have you no shame? I grabbed a bottle from the sink and threw it at her head. If love is just cheating and fooling around under the guise of friendship, then whores can build monuments to their chastity. Why do we even need marriage laws and wedding certificates? She screamed and clutched her head, collapsing into Adrian's arms. He immediately held her tight. Charlotte, if anything happens to her, I'll never forgive you. Never forgive me. A scumbag who can't even see the situation for what it is. How laughable. So you don't want to sign? Fine. I nodded and started tapping on my phone. Then you can wait to become famous. And then we'll see you in court. But I can wait for the court's decision. I don't know if the baby in your friend's belly can wait. Just then, Leo, who hadn't left, suddenly spoke up. Adrian, money can be earned again, but if the child is branded as illegitimate, it will affect him for the rest of his life. And besides, you two have already slept together, so just get a divorce and get married. Everyone's happy. It's perfect. Hearing this, and seeing that I was really about to post, Adrian gritted his teeth and said, "Fine, I'll sign." Charlotte, you'll regret this. Since he was leaving with nothing, Adrian didn't even bother to read the agreement. He just signed it quickly. He didn't notice the other document I had attached. I took the agreement, looked at his signature, and smiled. "Fine, since you saved my life once, I'll let you stay here for one night. You can continue your activities, or you can watch the game, but remember, just one night. Tomorrow, I'm putting the house on the market. If you're not out by then, don't blame me for calling the police." With that, I walked out of the bathroom without another glance at him. "Charlotte," Adrian called out instinctively. I don't know if it was the cold air from the open door that cleared his head, but a jolt of something went through him. Everything had happened so fast tonight, so fast that he hadn't had time to think. And now, it was over, and just as he was starting to process it, she threw herself into his arms. "Adrian, we can finally be together openly." Adrian held her, and in that moment, he forgot everything else. I had already quickly packed my important things and, ignoring everyone, walked out of the house. "Sister-in-law, is your head okay? It's so late. Do you want me to take you to the hospital?" Leo followed me out, thinking of the video he had sent, of him telling me to watch the show, of him throwing out the bathrobes. I stopped and asked him directly, "What do you want?" Leo chuckled. "Sister-in-law, you're as direct as ever. I'm just a little surprised you saw that post." "What do you mean?" I frowned. Since Adrian had posted anonymously, he surely wouldn't have told his friends about it. Leo's words. Before I could think any more, Leo had handed me his phone. My eyes widened in disbelief. The person who gave him the idea for the fake divorce. "It was you." "Why?" Leo's gaze was intense. "What do you think?" "Sister-in-law, we were both adults. Sometimes, things don't need to be said. A single look is enough." My heart pounded. My stomach churned. I tightened my grip on my suitcase. "I don't think anything, and I'm not interested in your motives." Just then, the car I had called arrived. I immediately got in and told the driver to go. I didn't look back at Leo. I went to the hospital to get my head stitched up. By the time I got to my hotel room, I had composed myself. My repeated tolerance was my final effort to save my marriage, my love. But since I had tried, and I had decided to give up, I would not look back. I would not let myself be affected. The next morning, I put the house on the market. I also called a moving company to move the rest of my things. I didn't show my face. Adrian and her, on the other hand, went public, flaunting their relationship. Her social media was filled with posts about their love. In one post, of them trying on diamond rings, she even tagged me. I commented, "Right, if you don't hurry up, you won't be able to hide the baby bump. How about this? You two get married the moment you're divorced. A bitch and a dog. A perfect match." The comment was deleted almost immediately. I laughed sarcastically. She was as cheap as ever. But they actually listened to me. The day we got our divorce certificate, she was there too. "Charlotte, we're getting married. The moment we're free of you, we're getting our license." Adrian deliberately waved their intertwined hands in my face, hoping to see me jealous and upset. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. I really didn't understand the point of his behavior. "That's wonderful. At least you won't be out there, like mad dogs, ruining other people's lives. But since he's leaving with nothing, aren't you going to have him sign a prenup? Aren't you afraid of losing everything?" I looked at her, deliberately provoking her. Her eyes were full of contempt. "Adrian and I grew up together. We're soulmates. You think we're like you venomous woman. We don't distinguish between what's mine and what's his." "Excellent." I was satisfied. I gave her a meaningful smile and went into the Civil Affairs Bureau. I took my divorce certificate and left. "Charlotte, you'll regret leaving me," Adrian shouted at my retreating back. I didn't even bother to turn around. I just waited for midnight to see their expressions when they received my gift. Not even half an hour later, she tagged me on social media again. She posted a picture of their brand new marriage certificate. I looked at the loan agreement in my hand, at the $50 million loan, and chuckled as I liked her post. The loan agreement was from a company I had found online the night I had printed out the divorce papers. Of course, the borrower's information was all Adrian's. When we were signing the divorce papers, I had, kindly, reminded him to read it carefully before signing. He was the one who had refused, who had signed without even looking, so he couldn't blame me, and tomorrow was the due date for the loan. After doing such disgusting things to me, did he think he could just get a divorce, leave with nothing, and start a new life? That wouldn't do. Weren't they so in love? Weren't they, bros? Now that they were married, they could share the debt. My phone rang. It was Leo. Charlotte, congratulations on being single again. Do you have time for dinner? His intentions were obvious. Does Adrian know you're trying to steal his girl? I asked calmly. Leo laughed. What have I done? I just couldn't bear to see you kept in the dark. And I wanted to help Adrian and her to see their own hearts. What's wrong with that? So, how about it? I'm not like Adrian. Brothers are just bros. I would never cross the line. Give me a chance. Yes, for the past 3 years. At every one of their get-togethers, Leo had been different from the others. He had never been overly familiar with her, but birds of a feather flocked together. Did he think he was any better? Not interested, I said coldly, hung up, and blocked him. And that night, just after midnight, Adrian, who was happily celebrating his new marriage, received a call from the loan company. How much? When? He shrieked, his voice cracking with shock, when he heard the principal was 50 million, with interest to be calculated separately, and when he saw the loan agreement the company sent him. Adrian went ballistic. Charlotte, you venomous woman, what have you done? You took out a loan in my name, he called and screamed. I was lying in the penthouse suite of a 5-star hotel. What? I feigned ignorance. Didn't you ask me to? You said it was for my emotional distress after the divorce. Bullshit. I never said that, he roared. I lazily rolled over. Ex-husband, are you so happy with your new marriage that you've already forgotten? I reminded you before you signed, didn't I? Think about it. Don't be so dramatic. You may have left with nothing, but as far as I know, her family is quite well off. 50 million. It will bankrupt them, but they can still pay it. Aren't you soulmates? So in love, and as a married couple, you should share the debt. Hearing her screaming in the background, I laughed happily, hung up, and blocked him. The reason I had let her show off on social media was so I could enjoy this show. And the next day, when Adrian and her found out where I was staying and rushed over, I was already on a plane, on my way to a vacation. My parents had died in an accident 2 years ago. I was alone. I didn't even have to worry about them harassing my family. Adrian called me from a different number. I had just landed. Charlotte, I know I wronged you. I'm sorry, but I already left with nothing. Can't you be a little merciful? Can you just transfer the 50 million? You don't have to pay the interest. I'll help you. Okay. It had only been one night, but Adrian's voice was dry and hoarse. Are you done? If so, I'm hanging up. I'm on vacation. I don't have time to listen to your nonsense. But Adrian, since we were married once, I'll give you a piece of advice. Instead of wasting your time with me, you should go and coax your precious little friend into paying the money. Otherwise, if the loan company doesn't get their money, and they break your legs, then, I let the sentence hang, chuckled, and blocked the number again. After that, Adrian tried to call me from several other numbers, but I didn't answer. I didn't even read his messages, which were a mixture of threats and pleas. But the algorithm is a magical thing, and after 3 years of marriage, Adrian and I still had a few mutual friends, so I still heard about what happened to him and her. Her family was not a wealthy one. 50 million was all they had. The inseparable bros had inevitably turned on each other over money. I heard she had an abortion and was trying to divorce him, but he wouldn't agree, saying he would only let her go if she helped him pay back the money. He also said that if she didn't pay, he would post all their disgusting secrets online. Since he was already ruined, she might as well be ruined with him. The two of them were in a stalemate, with no end in sight, and Adrian's so-called bros, who weren't very wealthy themselves, had all disappeared. A month later, I was sunbathing on the beach when I got a message from an unknown number. Adrian gave her a date, raped, drug, and used her money to pay back the loan. When she found out, she went crazy and bit off one of his ears and stabbed him. He stabbed her back in the stomach. She can no longer have children. Their parents got involved. They didn't call the police, but they're still fighting. Charlotte, you're ruthless. I can't mess with you. I was wondering who had sent the message, but the last line gave it away. It was Leo. I scoffed, put down my phone, and took a sip of my coconut water. This is what life is all about.